Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we've got another volume of tips and tricks for game engines. If you are using Unreal Engine, you are using the Unity Game Engine, or you're using the Godot Game Engine, hopefully today we cover something that maybe you didn't know. And a lot of these things are going to be about file sizes, but we're going to look at a couple of other topics as well. Now this actually came about because of a video I released about a week back called Your Game Engine is Too Big, in which I showed you how to install Unreal Engine and the Unity Game Engine to use up a literal fraction of the size. And a lot of you guys said, more content like this, please. So, okay, here's more content like that, please. And we're going to start one I get in the comments all the time for Unreal Engine, and that is in a new asset is released. By the way, first Tuesday of every month, Unreal Engine releases new free assets. I cover them every month, and more I use Unreal Engine 5. And people are asking, okay, well, how do I install a non-compatible asset to work with Unreal Engine 5? So that's the first thing we're going to cover today. So for example, one of the free assets that we just got is the Greenwood Fantasy Village. You can see here, I've already got it downloaded. You can tell assets you've got downloaded because the file size of it will be shown down here. So you want to go ahead and add that to your Unreal Engine 5 project, such as my project UE5. See here, it's Unreal Engine 5 project. How do I do that? Well, you click Add to Project. Seems simple enough so far, but what you'll notice is no project yet. Well, this is really simple. All you have to do actually is click Show All Projects, and then you pick the Unreal Engine 5 project you want the old assets to install with, and then down here you got to pick the closest version to 5.0. So in this case, you basically just pick the most recent 4.27, click OK, and add it to your project, and you are done. So that is all that it takes to use an Unreal Engine 4.x asset in Unreal Engine 5. So if you're wondering how to do it in the future, that is how. Click Show All Projects, and then go ahead and install. Now, I'm not going to add that one in, but that is the idea behind it. Another thing that we're going to showcase on here is this guy right here. I have 58 gigabytes of Unreal assets installed. And when you work with Unreal Engine, there are a lot of files scattered around that you may just quickly use up your hard drive space. Now, do watch that video I talked about earlier. There's a lot of things installed with Unreal Engine that you don't necessarily need installed. The iOS, Android, Linux build kits, you may not need those, and you can save 20 or 30 gigabytes by disabling those as part of your install. But if you've been using Unreal Engine for a little while, it will just continuously fill up your hard drive. And we're going to show you where some of those things are. Now, first things first, you have the Epic Game Launcher. So this is where I have it installed. So you go into the launcher folder, and you're going to notice there is a directory here called Vault Cache. That is one you're going to want to be aware of because that is... Well, let's go see how big mine is. Yeah, 58 gigabytes. So this is definitely a location you want to be aware of. Every time you use an asset, it is cached here. So you can see a number of the things, such as the Greenwood Village I just looked at earlier on. It is downloaded here. This is where all of the various different assets are. They're generally going to be in UAsset format, which, by the way, I did do a video a couple days back showing a tool that you can use to view UAsset files, but all of these things are stored in the Vault Cache. But that's not the only location they are. Just do be aware, your Vault Cache can get pretty freaking big, and this is a duplicate copy to the version that is in your game. So when you actually create a game, so I'm going to go here, so documents, for example, Unreal Engine projects, my UE5 projects, we go into content, well, you're going to notice that Greenwood Fantasy Village, it's here as well. So once it is in the one location, it's also in the other location. So if you're using and you just have one project available, you don't need to keep that other version. So you can go ahead and get rid of the contents of Vault Cache once they are installed to your local project. Now, if you're going to be using the same asset across multiple different projects, you want to keep this around. That's what the entire idea about this is, but the asset is installed into your own project as well, in addition to the vault. So as you can see, by the fact that this is 50 gigabytes on my machine, and then basically double that for every asset that's actually used in a project, it can get pretty big pretty quick. Now, the other thing to be aware of in terms of file locations, if you're on Windows, APPDATA. If you're on Mac, it's generally either app support or in library. But when you come on in here to APPDATA, you're going to find in APPDATA, you have three sets of things. There's local, local, low, and roaming. Now, these are kind of install specific things, a lot of times you can delete them, but not always. And you will lose your user settings and that kind of stuff if you do delete these things. The key idea here is roaming is going to be, if you're on a network and you can log into your profile on multiple different machines, anything in roaming should in theory be installable on all of those machines. Well, these ones are local to the machine you are working on, and this is lower level system type stuff. Basically, you don't want to touch LocalLow for the most part. But local and roaming, these two can have a lot of files hidden in them. So we're going to go again, to get to them, you do percentage app data percentage. That's a shortcut to the actual folder name, which also you'll see resolves to c:/user/username/appdata/roaming. You can get there that way as well. But what you'll find is if you go to do that, see how it's grayed out there? Well, that is because I have show hidden files on. So you may need to actually turn that on in order to see things. I think it's here. File names, extension, and hidden items. Make sure that those are turned on, or you may not even be able to see this folder at all. But once again, percent app data percent will bring you in here by default, and then you're going to start in the roaming folder. Now, if you go on down here, you're going to look and see there is a Unity folder. We're going to get back to that one in just a second. And there is also the Unreal Engine folder. In the Unreal Engine folder, not a lot here in roaming. Now, the one that you're interested in, though, is local. So go local, and we go to Unreal Engine. So, oh no, sorry, it's Epic Games in this case. So Epic Games. Oops. Okay, where did you go? So is it actually Unreal Engine? You may have to dig around when you do this. So Unreal Engine. And then while we're in here, you're going to see here all of the various different versions I have installed. But let's go take a look. So go back a folder, and let's check out just how big this folder has gotten. So we'll let this run for a second. I'll just keep talking, but I'm just going to make you aware there are all of these various hidden files available that a lot of this is caching, user settings, that kind of stuff. And again, if you delete this, you are going to lose all of those user settings. But that is another area where space is being held up. And a lot of times it's caching. So you got the cache files available there. You've got some content files cached, intermediate, this is temporary system files and that kind of stuff. You can save a little bit of space back here as well. Or if something is going wrong with your install and you want to go back to a complete virgin install, this is where you want to come. But while we're here, let's go take a look at Unity. So let's begin the Unity side of this equation, because Unity uses this a whole lot more for the most part. So we're going to come in here. This is under local, and you're going to see Unity is using up, let's just let it keep counting. So the more assets you have in Unity, the more you are going to find in this location. So this is a location you definitely want to be aware of as a Unity user as well. Again, in app data, you'll notice also that some of these things are tagged as read-only. You may need to override that if you want to get rid of stuff. We go into the Unity version here. You're going to see there is this cache, and this cache is huge. So this is mostly packages that you've downloaded. It's sort of like the cache that we just got rid of for Unreal Engine. It's the equivalent thing. So you're going to come in here, you're going to notice under cache, under packages, under Unity, you're going to have a ton of things that you've downloaded, and every single version of them, by the way. So you can see here, we've had various different rendered pipeline, HD render pipeline versions. Well, we have old ones as well. So going back to 03, so January, February, March of last year, we have a version there, and then as it comes newer, you get newer and newer caches of these things, but the old versions are still around. You can, by the way, delete this. It's just the next time you go to use those things, it's going to download and cache them again. But as you're seeing, you're getting cache versions for all of the old versions as well. So it really does become a waste of space over time, and your Unity install will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. So you may want to clear this out every once in a while. So that is under the local for Unity. But let's go back to app data, and no, not roaming. Or is it roaming? It can't be roaming. That would be a big mistake. Oh, it is roaming. Okay, that's ugly. All right, so here you can see if you go to app data, roaming, and then Unity, you have this guy right here. And let's go take a look at how big this is. Yeah, it's 50 gigabytes. And what this is basically a cache of every single asset you have ever downloaded in Unity. You know how when you go into the asset browser, there's an option to either download or re-download? Well, if it says re-download, that means because you've already got a version of it installed right here. So this is every single asset I have ever installed for the Unity game engine. They're all here. By the way, if you delete it here, the next time you go and grab it, it's just going to go and download it again. This is a lot like the cache that we looked at for the Unreal Engine as well. And you can tell both Unreal and Unity don't care that much about your drive space because you're seeing duplicates of things. And do keep in mind that once it is in a project, there is a complete copy in your project as well. Your project isn't looking back to this version. This is just so if you use it again in a new project. So if you literally have just one project on the go and you're not using assets between multiple projects, you are wasting space in a sense. So you can get rid of anything here that you wish. Just be aware, if you go to import it again, you're going to have to re-download it. And that's normal. This is literally the way it was meant to run, but that is a top tip to know about from Unity. So if you're wondering between Unreal Engine or Unity, why the hell am I running out of disk space? Well, these are the big reasons. So again, under AppData, roaming, Unity, Asset Store 5x, that is where all of your asset store purchases are cached once downloaded. And then under Local, under Unity, here, you are going to find there is also this giant cache of downloaded packages. If you delete any of these things and then use them again, the worst case scenario, you're costing the time to download, the time to cache it again on disk, and that's it. So they will reconstitute themselves, so you can't cause too much damage in that regard. And one final tip-ish, sort of, I want to go ahead and showcase the Godot Game Engine. Now, I mentioned the Godot in that your game engine is too large, and I know a lot of Godovians kind of got a little smug. I actually addressed that right up front. And Godot is pretty small, so 3.4.2 stable right now for Win64 is a 70 megabyte install. But that's not actually the full size of the Godot Game Engine. Godot is actually fully in its final Frieza form, is actually quite a bit larger than that. And you'll notice that if you ever go to Steam. And here we are in Steam. This is the Godot Game Engine install on Steam. And I'm going to go ahead and do an install of this. And hey, wait a minute. It's a gigabyte. Why the hell is it a gigabyte on Steam, but 75 megabytes on, if you just download it directly from the Godot site? Well, the big thing here is the install templates. These are basically the build tools needed to make it for Android, iOS, web, and the various different platforms out there. Those are all installed by default as part of the Steam install, but they are not part of the just downloaded version. So the actual installed footprint of Godot is more like a gigabyte if you're going to be building for those other platforms. It makes it actually quite a bit closer in size to Unity than a lot of people realize. But Godot isn't simply 50 to 100 megabytes like was suggested in that other video. It can be. The minimum install of Godot can't be touched by Unreal or Unity, but the full size of install for the Godot game engine is actually more like a gigabyte in size, and that includes all the various different templates. So do know, if you're installing it from Steam, it's actually about 20 times bigger than if you were just downloading it directly from the web page. So if you really care about disk space, you want to download it from GodotEngine.org and not from Steam, because you're not getting all of those templates that you may not need. So if you're just building it for your local computer, you don't need those templates. If you're just doing development, you're not compiling it for other platforms, you can get by with that 50 to 75 megabyte install from GodotEngine.org. So the Godot engine, actually a little bit bigger than I said in the other video. Still the smallest of the three by a huge margin. Just do be aware, it's actually bigger than it initially seems. So that's it. Another set of tips and tricks for various different game engines. Hopefully, I'm helping you reclaim at least a little bit of your hard drive space, or at least you got a bit better awareness of where these things are located. If you have any more tips and tricks, please let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'll do another follow-up of this kind of video. It's kind of a the more you know kind of session. So hopefully you guys found that useful. If you got any other tips to share, please do let them know in the comments down below, and I shall talk to you all later. Goodbye.